The Detroit Lions are checking things out at the NFL Combine like most other NFL teams, and have seen some players open their eyes in recent days in terms of what type of things they can do on the field for their offense. Indeed, the Lions need some major players to help them make some more explosive plays, and it will be interesting to see how big a priority the team makes getting some more weapons for that side of the ball in the coming months. So which offensive players should have caught the attention of the Lions and Matt Patricia? There's multiple guys who did a great job in the first 2 days to impress in order to get themselves on the radar for the Lions. Here's a look at some of the players who should have opened Detroit's eyes in a major way on the field for what they did while in Indianapolis over the weekend of work. The hometown prospect showed out with a nice 40-yard dash and helped alleviate concerns many may have had about his speed over the course of the season. Weber has already proven he is capable of being in a tandem backfield, and with the speed he showed off, Weber might have gotten some attention with this ability to be speedy, and the Lions could turn to him later and get a guy who can help the offense. Fant showed up and might have outshined his competition a bit in T.J. Hockenson with a solid bench press, 40-yard dash and workout on the field. The Lions will likely feel better about Fant now after seeing him show on the field. He was one of the prospects they took a closer look at and interviewed in Indianapolis. The Lions might have seen another Oklahoma State running back catch their attention in Hill, and he's a guy who can fly and make a ton of plays with his legs as he showed during the workouts. Running back isn't as pressing a need as it was 1 year ago at this time, but someone like Hill could be in play fairly early given his balance he showed teams this week. The Lions had to like it. The Lions got a meeting in with Jonah Williams, but interestingly, Taylor might have taken the lead in terms of prospects up front they want to consider. Taylor can probably play either side, and I'm impressed with his fluidity and athleticism. The Lions might not go with another offensive lineman high, but in Taylor and perhaps Williams, they have two good prospects to consider. Arguably, Taylor excelled the most. Quarterback class is pretty average, but an interesting prospect for the Lions would be Jackson, another man from their home state of Michigan by way of Buffalo. Jackson showed off a nice arm and solid speed for a prospect his size, and could be a great developmental guy behind Matthew Stafford. Arguably, of all the middle-round guys the Lions could take, he stood out the most. Like Fant, Smith showed out in a big way and flexed his muscle within drills and on the workouts. Smith proved that the Lions can still land an impact tight end later on in the draft considering how well he showed and what he was able to do on the field. Smith is a powerful prospect, and with his NFL bloodlines as a shoo-in to be at least one of the top 3 tight ends in this process. Perhaps out of nowhere, Hall surprised by nearly jumping out of Lucas Oil Stadium and then showing up well in drills and the 40-yard dash. There could be an opening for someone to sneak up higher on draft boards, and Hall is someone to remember in this regard for the Lions. He has all the tools to be a nice prospect for the team, depending on where he would go in the draft. Tied for the highest 40 time in the group at wideout, Campbell looked nice and fluid for anyone who was watching and was impressive in a major way as a potential offensive weapon for Detroit. Would he be there in the second round for the team to nab? Perhaps he would be, and if that was the case, the Lions could do a lot worse in terms of finding an electric playmaker for their offense. The Lions have multiple options at tight end, and Oliver emerged as a very intriguing one with his work in all the drills over the weekend. The spot is deep as can be, which means the Lions might not have to take a prospect early when they could still end up with someone like Oliver who can do a nice job dominating the week and showing himself off in a major way on the field. There is simply nothing to say about the man who dominated every phase of this NFL Combine in terms of wide receivers. Metcalf was amazing in his 40, ran well on the field drills, and also impressed with the raw data and numbers. The Lions might have a big decision to make if he is there with pick N08 because the numbers were just flat-out freakish for the prospect. He made himself a ton of money, and the only question is, do the Lions bite?